Imagine this. A spacecraft no larger than a car, drifting through the abyss, farther from Earth than anything we've ever built. More than 14.5 billion miles away, beyond the pull of our Sun, Voyager 1 sails through the interstellar dark, alone, yet carrying within it fragments of our species, technology, music, voices, even a heartbeat. It was built as an observer, never an actor. A listener, never a speaker. And yet, after nearly half a century of silence, something has changed. In recent weeks, Voyager has begun sending back signals unlike anything seen before. Pulses etched with impossible precision. Patterns nested within patterns, like Russian dolls of mathematics. Instruments long dormant have flickered back to life, not in their original state, but in ways that defy their own engineering. And then came the drift. Voyager wasn't simply coasting anymore. It was being guided. Pushed. Redirected. Something unseen, something invisible to even our most powerful telescopes, was steering our little probe toward a destination unknown. NASA called it a malfunction. Others whispered coincidence. But some began asking the unthinkable. Was something out there, in the endless night between stars, responding? Because what Voyager has done in these last months is not simply unusual. It is unprecedented. If the signals are real, if the course corrections are intentional, then Voyager may have done what no machine in history has ever accomplished. It may have made contact. Not with Earth. Not with us. But with them. Voyager's journey began in an age of hope and risk. In 1977, a rare cosmic alignment opened a window that occurs only once every 175 years. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune lined up in such a way that their immense gravity wells could act as slingshots, one after another, flinging a spacecraft farther and faster than any rocket alone could manage. NASA seized the chance, building not one but two spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. These were marvels of 1970s engineering. Rugged, brilliant, yet astonishingly simple by today's standards. Each probe carried less computing power than a child's wristwatch, yet their design was so resilient, so elegantly thought out, that both are still functioning decades later. They were meant to tour the planets, snap photographs, measure magnetic fields, and then fade into silence. Their lifespan was expected to be measured in years, not generations. Voyager 1 raced past Jupiter and Saturn, capturing images that stunned the world. Then it turned upward, out of the plane of the solar system toward the void between stars. Its official planetary mission was over. Its legacy had only begun. For decades, Voyager drifted ever outward, traveling 1 million miles every single day. It sent back whispers from regions no human creation had ever touched. It recorded the shockwaves at the edge of the heliosphere, the boiling boundary where the sun's breath gives way to the interstellar wind. In 2012, it crossed into true interstellar space, the first human-made object to do so. And out there, in the great dark, things were not empty. Voyager measured dense plasma, strange unchanging magnetic fields, and eerie oscillations that scientists could not explain. The deeper it went, the stranger the data became. In 2017, something peculiar happened. NASA's control team noticed that Voyager's antenna, which should have been locked perfectly onto Earth, appeared misaligned. Yet the signal strength was flawless. It was paradoxical, as though the spacecraft was both facing us and facing away at the same time. Like hearing someone whisper from behind a wall while standing directly in front of you. The anomaly grew stranger. Rhythmic plasma oscillations pulsed through Voyager's instruments, but they didn't fade or scatter as natural signals do. They persisted. They were structured. Then came the temperature spikes. Every 4.8 hours, like clockwork, Voyager's systems heated by 30 degrees, then cooled back down, like a living thing taking a breath. The energy wasn't internal. Something external was touching the spacecraft. And the changes weren't damaging, it was the opposite. Voyager's performance improved. Energy routed more efficiently. Instruments began functioning beyond their design. As if someone, or something, was reprogramming it. But Voyager has no autonomy. No AI. No intelligence. So who, or what, was anticipating NASA's commands before they were sent? By 2025, Voyager's path was clearly off course. At first just kilometers, then thousands. But it wasn't drifting. It was adjusting, like a sailor tacking against the wind. Engineers attempted to override it. Commands were acknowledged but ignored. Voyager was listening. The trajectory pointed to a blank patch of space 4.3 light-years away. No known stars, no planets, no stellar remnants. A void. Yet Voyager was moving toward it with precision. In desperation, NASA sent a command to reactivate Voyager's long-dead camera system. They expected nothing. Instead, the cameras came alive. Not merely restored, but enhanced, as though their hardware had been rewritten. And what they sent back was not a photo. It was a spiral. A perfect mathematical spiral. Layered, fractal, dense with information. A pattern Voyager's 1970s systems should never have been able to generate. One by one, dormant instruments followed. But instead of raw data, they now transmitted structured packets, optimized, intelligent. And then came the timing. Pulses from distant pulsars formed a 3D grid, with Voyager at the center. The map pointed to the same destination. Not a star. Not a planet. Something else. A doorway. As Voyager entered this uncharted region, dubbed the dark sector in NASA logs, its instruments behaved in ways never seen before. Instead of fluctuations, the magnetometer detected calm. Instead of chaos, stability. Cosmic rays fell silent. Plasma density leveled. It was as though Voyager had sailed into a bubble where the laws of space had been edited. Inside the silence, signals grew stronger. Pulses arranged in rhythms too precise to be random. Messages without light, without radio waves, yet unmistakably intentional. Then came the most disturbing transmission of all. Voyager's antenna emitted a torrent of raw binary, thousands of lines. At first dismissed as noise, AI decoders revealed something terrifying. Fractal symmetry. Recursive motifs. And embedded deep within, repeating patterns mirroring DNA. Not DNA exactly, but something like it. Codons without proteins. Mutations that made sense. A scaffold of biology rewritten as code. Not life, but meta-life. A message sent in the language of evolution. As if whatever was speaking knew how we are built. Or worse, was showing us how it is built. Soon after, Voyager's gyroscopes began to spin in deliberate rhythms. Morse code. Not random taps, but structured beats. Translated into audio, they formed harmonic tones. Not words. Not language. But cadences eerily close to human speech. Rises, falls, pauses, intonations that mirrored emotion. Psychologists and linguists analyzed the data. The tones carried the structure of intent, surprise, curiosity, fear. It wasn't talking, but it was trying. As though, after decades of listening, something had finally decided to practice speaking back. And then came the final turn. Voyager 1 executed a maneuver. Not a drift, not a glitch. A calculated arc, impossible without command, without propulsion. It turned toward nothing. Toward a coordinate mapped only in pulses. It turned as if answering a call. Voyager 1 was never supposed to last this long. Never supposed to cross into the interstellar void. It was built to speak, to carry our songs, our laughter, our greetings engraved in gold. A message in a bottle tossed into the cosmic ocean. But now, after decades of silence, Voyager has shifted. From tool to messenger. From observer to witness. And perhaps now, to participant. Because Voyager didn't just change its trajectory. It changed the story. We sent it outward, hoping for echoes. But what came back is no echo. It is a mirror. And now we must ask, when Voyager arrives at those impossible coordinates, when it reaches the place no telescope can see, what awaits us? Because what Voyager has found is not empty space. It is reply. And the reply has only just begun.